Hey everybody. Okay, it's Matt. Why are you seeing me at the beginning of this thing? Because I had some horrible technological problems this time, and unfortunately one of my favorite artists in the world, George, is up next, and I don't get to really be a part of it. So Mickey and Paul did an amazing job, and I will definitely be on again, and I promise you, so will George. Right, George? Anyway, have fun. Thanks.
Hello and welcome to episode 24 of Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists. We humbly ask that you please consider giving us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on. My name is Michael Mondragon, and I'll be running the show, moderating comments, and chiming in from time to time. Let's meet the Carvers. First, he is an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He is the 2019 champion of Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkins. Paul Dever, welcome.
Hey guys.
Welcome, Paul.
Hello, Paul. Good to be here.
Next, he is a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network. Matt Harper, welcome.
Hey.
Hey guys.
And our guest is a creature and character artist who is joining us from his studio in Greece. He's an incredibly talented George Tsougkouzidis. Welcome.
Hello, guys.
Nice.
Hello.
Good job,
Hello,
Mickey,
everyone.
on pronouncing that thing.
Thank you so much. I practice all week. Well, Merry Christmas to everyone. George, it is, 5 o'clock in the afternoon there?
Yeah. Here it's 5:30, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I got up at 5 a.m. to do this. So
Wow.
yeah. So we're super great to have you here. So usually we
Thank
do a
you, guys.
toast at the beginning. So let's go around the room. Matt, are you frozen? Wow. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's got some coffee. Right on.
I've got my coffee. It's that time of day, so I'm just sticking with coffee today.
Perfect. What do you got, Paul, over there?
I'm going straight bourbon. It's 9:30 here. Yeah. I got my trusty mug full of black coffee.
Perfect. And George, I think you had a mug as well of coffee.
I have also coffee. Black coffee.
So
The
no
show is
craft
brought to you
beer
by-
today.
No
Wouldn't that be great
craft
if I
beer
could
today.
popped out some craft beer? That'd be amazing.
I thought about it and it didn't even seem like a good idea. Like, I don't know if I could.
Not
take it
appealing
down.
this time of day.
It really
Yeah.
isn't.
So I have my bulletproof cold brew latte.
Oh,
So
nice.
with grass-fed butter, which is amazing. It's really good. If you,
I keep hearing about that. The Irish butter and coffee. That's
Oh,
the thing, right?
it's a life hack. It will change your life for the better.
Really?
Yes, I did it. My girlfriend and I did it 4 years ago, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Can you do it with like Land O'Lakes, or does it have to be Irish butter?
Grass-fed butter is. Trust me, just go with that. Don't hack it out. Yeah, it's perfect. It's amazing. So I'll give you that recipe.
Cool. I appreciate that.
We are all about George today, so we definitely wanted to. I know that you guys have a million questions because he is an artist that has inspired you greatly. And so, Paul, did you have anything that up front that you wanted to ask George?
Yeah, I did. I mean, obviously, thanks again, George, for joining us. This is huge. I always wanted to ask you how you got into sculpting in general. Were you schooled? Was this just a passion that you had? Like, Matt and I, neither of us were trained, and we kind of this was something that we loved to do anyway. And now this is what we do for every free second of the day. So I always wanted to know from somebody that's as established as an artist as you are, how did you really get into it?
I have started to sculpt mostly in 2013, like 7 years ago.
Wow, that's it?
Yes.
Wow.
But all my life, like 10 years, I was working in architectural company. I was doing maquettes. I was managed all the workers in that job, and I was doing that 10 years. But in that period, like I always want to sculpt, but I don't have the chance to sculpt because I was working from the morning to the night. I was in my work. And in 2013 and 14, in crisis in Greece, like we have lost the jobs, we don't have the jobs. And then I was starting slowly to sculpt in 2013. And I have lost my job. And for 4 years, I was working in security company. I was going to my work the night and return back to home the morning. In that moment, I have started to sculpt in that night.
Wow.
In 2013, yeah. And this was my start because then I have realized like now I have the time, and because I can't find any job, I was doing only the security job. My wife then was pregnant in our first kid, and I was thinking like I need to do something like for my future, for my how we can live.
Sure.
And then I have started in 2013, slowly. And in 2014, I have released my first sculpture, my first alien.
Wow.
Like it's there, but there, somewhere back. And from 2014, like I have never stopped to sculpt, like every day, almost.
Wow, it's crazy how life leads you to where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just watching, like, like from all the guys I love from USA mostly, like Sheffield Brothers, Forum, Simon Lee, Steve Wang, all that guys, like, George Tsougkouzidis, like, I was inspired from them. Like, I was watching them. One day I would love to do something similar in that art, It's just dream. It was my dreams.
Well, I'd have to say you're there. you're definitely on that level because your stuff is just amazing.
Well, thank you so much.
And this leads me to my next question: is where did your love for Cthulhu come in? Because that's some of your most amazing, that the tentacle work and just the what you're able to do with that character is just beyond belief.
I mostly like read like when I working like audiobooks from Lovecraft. And I was so inspired, like from the stories, because I love, like, the stories and to create something from imagination to do my Lovecraft stuff. And 4 years now, I think I just have started and don't have stopped to sculpt like all that Cthulhu's and Lovecraft inspired stuff. I can show you also later, like my work in progress stuff.
Yeah, I'm blown away by it. The tentacle work alone. I mean,
thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm jealous. That's how good it is. I'm so jealous. I look at that. Like, I wouldn't. Where do you start on a sculpture like this? Like, when you do a Cthulhu, is there like one spot that you always love to begin?
In my beginning, I was doing mostly fantasy art. Orcs, goblins. If you will see my first steps, it was that, like, but later, like I like 3 years ago, I think I have started to sculpt like Cthulhu's, and I don't know, it's like, for me, it's like my favorite thing, like to sculpt that mythology stuff, like.
You nail it. It's great. I mean,
thank you, my friend.
I don't even want to attempt it. It's perfect. I couldn't screw with that.
George, do you use a lot of like natural references when it comes to doing Cthulhu's? Like, do you do a lot of no?
Just no, because I mostly, when I start to sculpt, I sculpting from imagination.
That's
and
so
just when I working, I listen a lot like audiobooks from H.P. Lovecraft stories, and also like we have some reference like his original drawings, but it's just like like rough sketches he have done, and like all the artists like doing now, like I'm just doing like with my imagination what I'm thinking, let's say, to sculpt like all that stuff.
I love that you're doing it from imagination too, because it takes all the limits away. You're not stuck to the constraint of what you're looking at as reference. You can do whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the way to do it. I mean, I'll never try it because you've already perfected. I'm never gonna.
You just need to think about what you want to do, and if you will do that in your way, I think it will be different. It's like
right.
Your version. Yeah, it'll be your version.
Well, that's
your
the beauty
version.
of
Exactly.
not using reference gives you that ability too. It's going to come out in your style just because that's how your brain sees it, right? So
yeah.
Paul and I do a lot of pumpkins that are kind of just off the cuff without reference, so we can. But again, we're doing kind of silly faces versus these masterpieces. The detail you put into this is remarkable. What do you typically use for a medium clay?
I mostly working with monster clay.
The gray monster clay.
Okay, is it medium or hard?
The medium. For the summer, I'm working with hard version because here is so hot, like we have. And the hard version, it's like medium in the summer. But I'm mostly working with medium.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's faster. You can start to building like very fast, like sketch like very fast.
Yeah.
Yes, all my work is like 99% of my work is just clay.
Wow.
Okay.
Clay.
Okay. And so do you do much with armatures? Because I know you do a lot of like pieces that are.
Yeah, I will show you guys. With armatures, like I have here some pieces. Let's say that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's I would consider that more of a base, right?
Yes, this is the I just doing my plaster bases.
The same.
Inside I have like metals and wrap them with armature, and then I start to directly to that I starting to sculpt. It's like and when I sculpt I have that in that position, like it helps me a lot.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
This is my approach to sculpt in that way.
Wow. So what was your initial plan when you started sculpting? Was it just to have a job, to do something, or create like a product that you could sell, or or was it what was your initial plan?
Nothing in all that, because I was not expect I can achieve good level to do that and people will buy it. I just when I have start, it was like for fun, all my works. I have them like in like 1 year. I have so many sculptures in my shelf. My wife's asked me like, what is that? Like, what do you want to do with them? I just it was like my time to, because I have the time to sculpt when I was working the nights, and I never have imagined like I will do that like job. No, it was like just for fun, and still it's fun. Like,
and then when you started putting stuff out there, that people came to you and they said, "Oh, can you do that for me?" or "Can you do this?" or was it like, "Do more of this"?
Yeah, I remember like when I have post my first sculpture, then it was like my first post, and then in that day I remember I have sell 3 sculptures.
Wow.
And I was like, it was for me like amazing. Like, I can't believe that. Yeah. And from that day, I remember like every day, approximately, like people ask me how much, to buy it. And then I have take one commission also from USA to do again one alien. And this was like my first steps, like with my first work, like, yeah. And then I realized like people ask me, they like my work.
Yeah.
And it was my start.
And the rest is history, as they say, because you're off and running. I mean, look at the table behind you. I mean, there's.
And I keep that sculpture, I keep, it's like now it's like this, 1 minute, that it's, you see, it was gray color. Now it's my first sculpture. It's my first copy.
Nice.
Years ago.
It's like keeping your first the first
Yeah,
dollar
it's
bill you made.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
just literally, you stole that out of my mouth. That was
Sorry.
exactly what I was thinking. That's awesome. Great minds think alike.
That's yes, exactly. And great minds wear the same sweaters.
Exactly. But that's awesome. No, I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around this, George. Like you said, these are your first sculptures, but you're sculpting at this level. Like it doesn't make sense. Like
no.
Same thing I was thinking.
It was like my first work when I have shown it to my friend Valery Sakov.
Okay.
I have asked his advice about I would love to mold something from my work, and he told me like what do you want to mold, and I tell him like I have one sculpture. I think it's in good level, but it's not ready. And when I have shown to him, he told me like send it, it's ready, I will mold it. But I was so worried about that, like, no, it's not ready. I need to work more with that work. And he told me it's just ready. Just send it to me. And it was he is like my best friend. After all that years, he have helped me a lot with my, with molding and all that stuff. We have done like all my sculpture, I have done with him in my start.
Gotcha.
And he was like my guy who have helped me in all that, like to produce my works. And from that sculpture, I have started to doing like every 2-3 months I have done one sculpture. Like it was like more fantasy works, like goblins, orcs, dwarfs. Yeah.
And you primarily do fantasy work.
Well, it was just my learning steps,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was like amazing. It was my steps.
So it's what you're passionate about too. You've talked about loving the mythological creatures and characters, and your love for Lovecraft. So talk about a great doing what you love to do. That's
yes. I think it's the best thing. When you're doing what you love, like when I'm thinking, oh, tomorrow I have to open my molds, man. I think this is like like I opening presents. Like I love, like I still love that moments, like every day.
That's okay. Every day's Christmas for George.
Yes. Let's see how it came out. It's amazing.
So you don't want to go back to doing maquettes of malls?
I just doing now only my works, my molds. Yeah.
No way. You never look back now. Not if you do the Cthulhus that you're doing there. There's no going back. It's only up and onward. Now we had, like I said, we're all huge fans, and a friend of ours that we were having on the show, Lenny Calvin, is a giant fan of yours. And I know he had reached out to you actually to ask permission to do a Cthulhu of yours. And,
yes.
Did you get a chance to see it? That's there.
Yes, I have seen it when Lenny have done it. Amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. I love he built the base, and I don't know how he found a cloche that fit it that perfect.
Oh yeah, man, it's so perfectly like.
Like it was made for it.
Fit inside. Yeah.
Yeah, he really knocked that one out of the park, and he was nervous, but boy, he was inspired. He really had a great plan going with that, and I don't know how he did it, but great job, Lenny.
Great job. Yeah, true. Yeah, I have write him that.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
See that you're inspiring other artists, George.
And this is like amazing when I hear that. Like I'm inspiring someone. It's amazing.
Oh, and I'm sure Lenny's not the only one. I'm sure a lot of people try to imitate or replicate the style that you have. The tentacles they're just so smooth, and the way they attach to, the skull. Maybe someday I'll attempt it, and I'll reach out to you for help, and you can tell me where I went wrong.
Whenever you want, just tell me. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Hey, Matt, welcome back.
I took a stab at it. Yeah, I had the blue screen of death. I'll apologize to our wonderful audience. Blue screen of death today. So I'm doing this from the cell phone. It's not the best, but if I come and go, please, just don't hate me. But anyway, but yeah, George, I tried the same thing with one of your Cthulhus.
Cthulhu.
Do you guys hear me okay?
Yep. You sound great. You did.
A little choppy. Please carry. Yeah, carry on. I'll do.
No,
my
you
best.
sound good, man. You're doing fine.
I am carving.
Yeah, just keep carving.
Okay. Okay.
Keep carving. Actually, turn off your video maybe, and just do your audio.
Do we have the picture ready to go that says live on the phone, Matt Harper?
Exactly.
It is pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we'll just have that there. Hopefully you can still hear us, Matt. Right?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you guys fine.
Okay. So
Yeah,
let's just go with that. Let's just go with that. So let me pull up some more of George's work because I mean it's this is next level. I mean this is absolutely insane. Like what I mean. We're asking like where do you start, like where do you finish with this, like where do you go, like, oh yeah, this is too much, or the level of detail in this is absolutely insane. So like how long would something like this take?
Yeah, like I have many works in work in progress. Like my approach to sculpt, it's like I have multiple sculptures when I'm working, because I'm tired. Like if I will sculpt one sculpture, I'm tired to do like only that.
Yeah.
After 2-3 days, I start to sculpt different stuff, like really different. Again, when I returning back to that sculpture, I have fresh eyes. Like I see differently something. Oh, I need to change that. Sometimes it takes months. Sometimes it takes weeks. It depends on the how passionate I'm in that moment to finish.
Gotcha.
It, you know?
Yeah.
It's all that. I can't explain like how I can finish one project. I just finish it in correct time, I think. Yeah, when it has to.
So that takes the pressure off you guys. You guys, it wasn't done in a day.
So that's the difference, George, between what Matt and I have been doing primarily for the last 7 months, which is squash and pumpkin, is we try to finish it within a day or two because it's a perishable item. And so we are always amazed that when someone says, sometimes it takes me a couple of months.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I mean, and I agree with you 100%. I've some of the sculptures that I have sitting around, I'll walk by it. I'll have abandoned it for months and then walk by and go, you know what that needs? And then you pull it out and you're into it for 5 hours playing with it and changing things. And then it might go back on the shelf for another couple of months until I feel like doing something with it again. Yeah. It's such a great process.
The approach, I think.
Wow, look at that.
Great.
That's beautiful out there, man. I think you were just inside. It was like being inside the metal. Do you have? They must have.
I was in my bunker, and I think the bunker, was. But I figured at least I walk outside. I so want to talk to George. This is like I'd rather not carve and talk to George than sit here trying to get back online. So I'll just do whatever it takes to stay online here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it worked. It worked for a minute.
So when it comes to you do, as long as I still have connection. So you do a lot of clay, obviously. Did you? I think it's back.
Yeah, this is Where let's just.
Oh, Matt.
Yeah, this sucks. Oh well.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe can he like call in? You know what I mean?
I wish.
Well, it is what
it is. It is what it is.
We push on.
So Paul, let's actually take a look at what you're doing. Is what you're doing inspired by George?
No, I did listen. Baby steps when it comes to I know how to skate my lane, all right? I can't go into something that detailed. No, it's because we are. This is Christmas Eve when we are airing the show. I'm gonna take a stab at a Who from Whoville. somewhat.
Oh, smart.
So-
Smart.
A lot of forms to round out, and I'm going to take my time and play with this area up in here. It's not going to be any who in particular. It'll be a who. It'll be a who's who. So, well, I'll figure it out as I go. But I wanted to do something fun because this is Christmas Eve when this airs.
Yeah. So George, have you ever done anything like what Paul's doing? Have you ever done anything?
I would love to try to carve in pumpkin. I have done in clay pumpkins. I have big collection of pumpkins, but I don't have done like in real pumpkin.
Oh, we see now. George will have to come back and he'll have to try a pumpkin.
Pumpkin,
Yeah, big one. That would be great.
Yeah.
Can you get pumpkins there? Are they in
Yes,
in supply there?
Yes, but I need to find them like somewhere to buy them.
Yeah. I mean, this is a butternut squash. Do you
Yeah,
have
we use
those
a lot of
too?
squash. These ones should be available to you, I think, right? Butternut squash.
Yes, yeah, I think we have here like different types.
Yeah, we found that these are almost even more fun to carve than pumpkins, really, because this whole section is solid.
Mhm.
So depending on the shape that you get, you can really almost go subtractive like you would with a firm clay. You know, if you want to clear out a lot of material, you don't have to. It takes a lot of the limits away, and you're really only going to be careful.
Carving, like you're doing, like it's just you remove, like you add. In clay, we add. You know, like
Add, yes.
different approach. Yes.
So, yes. Everything we do is subtractive. That's why sometimes, if I switch over to clay,
Mhm.
for a little while I feel lost because it's like I want to scrape and pull when I have to add and be symmetrical in form, and so it's fun. There is a bit of a shaking off the rust. You know, I gotta kind of
time to time you need to just do something different.
I love it. My wife last year for Christmas got me 20 pounds of monster clay.
Oh, great.
When in actuality, you probably could use the 5-pound brick over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I kind of similar to what you do is I'll start a project, leave it, start something else, jump back to it. So I have all these little things just kind of floating around that eventually I'll get to, but I have to learn to cast. That's a big step for me. Like you were saying how you wanted help when you first started casting. Now, do you have what is it called?
I have my good friend Valerio Sakov. He's a professional mold maker, like doing like for miniature companies, all that stuff.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So what is it called? Is a vacuum?
Vacuum chamber, pressure pot.
Vacuum chamber. Yeah. That's what I think I'm missing because I've casted a couple of like smaller items, but they always have tons of air bubbles and.
I can show you like how you can do that with no problems, with no vacuum chamber.
So
this is the simple stuff you can make without vacuum chamber. You don't need that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You don't need that. Yeah, I can show you like how you can do that, and you will have like perfect casts.
Great. Then I'll be back on clay again. I'll be casting like crazy.
Yeah.
Because I do that. I mean, that like you touched on earlier, it's like it's opening a Christmas present to see how good the copy came out, and then the next step where you get to clean it up and paint it. I mean, that's another fun step.
Yes, that stuff, like small stuff, like when you're doing like simple stuffs, you can do them like with no vacuum chamber and pressure pots. When you're doing like 2-part molds, yes, you will need. For the best results, let's say, to avoid all the bubbles we have, you need vacuum chamber and pressure pot.
Yeah, that's on the Christmas wish list.
Okay.
Yeah, I like doing the smaller things right now, but eventually, I want to cast a pumpkin.
I will show you like some of my heads I have. Like let's say like that.
That's cool. I've seen that one. That's amazing.
It's with no bubbles, like perfect.
Wow, look at that.
And it even got see the place you always get the bubbles would be like the tips of the ears because of air pockets and whatnot, right? So how do you get rid of that?
Yeah, I'm making like air escapes.
Oh, you're okay.
I can show you one day, like if you want, like how you can do like with your sculpture. I can show you, and you can make it and see.
Perfect. Yes, I
Yeah.
will take you up on that, because the ears on mine look like they were chewed with Swiss cheese sometimes. There are little bubbles and holes around the back edges, and I can't figure it out.
Yeah, man, it's not. If you will see 1-2 times like how to do it correctly, you will have no problems. You know.
Oh, Frank, look at that.
Our Frank.
See, now I would consider that would be considered kind of a different style than we usually see from you. That's got a bit of it's a different touch. I like that.
Yeah, it's fantasy. Like my approach to fantasy is different.
I love it.
I
It's great.
That.
It's so cool. You just have millions of your kids must love it.
All my stuff here.
Like a toy
They
shop.
draw, they paint to the sculptures sometimes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So a lot of our viewers are really into well, two things: what tools you use and your studio. Like looking around your studio of like what you have around there. Would you like to show us around your studio and maybe even
I can show like just with my camera because it's here in.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
If it's okay, guys.
Sure.
Like here, let's say I have my work in progress.
Wow.
Back there, some drawing skits, some of my sculptures I have there, some books, and also, sorry, here I have also some gifts and sculptures. I can show, unfortunately, my cable is not so big. Yeah, and there I'm working like only like all my clay area is here. Mm-hmm. And in my basement and a different area, I have my mold station. I have all my stuff there because they are chemicals, and I try to not have them like here.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
The giant statue behind you. Could we get a better look at that? That is unreal.
Yeah. 1 minute, guys.
Sure. See, someday, Mickey, I'm gonna have a setup like that.
Yeah.
With all that awesome work, just look at that. Wow.
It's huge.
Wow. That is unreal. Look at the arm, Mickey.
That is nuts.
It's work in progress. Just
wow. Wait.
The detail is unbelievable.
It's work in progress. Yeah.
It's coming along fabulously.
Yeah.
That is great, man.
Yeah, I can show you my my clay.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible.
See, now that one reminds me of a Simon Lee kind of sculpt. You could see the inspiration.
Giger. Yeah, it's just like Giger style.
The articulation.
Simon is my favorite, one of my favorite artists. Also.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's outrageous.
Yeah,
I mean that's sick. The posture of the hands is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you've been working on a series. The what do they call them? The arcade.
Arcade. Yeah.
Look at you show us a couple of those. Those are awesome. Such a great idea.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That moves? That doesn't move. Does that move?
Yeah.
Cut it out.
It's pins.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
like, holy, look at that.
So that's what it looks like when it's completed. I mean, you have all these different colors. You have all these. It's really incredible. So what inspired this? Obviously, it's an arcade game, but like mixing the genres, like it's such a interesting, very unique concept.
It's like mostly from my childhood years when I was playing. I remember like many hours in Street Fighter and other games in arcades. Yeah. And I was thinking like I have in my head in the past like to do something like arcade, and I have just done that. First version is that green, and I have done now like three 3 versions, and now I'm doing like bigger stuff, like that. Like,
Let's see here. Oh wow.
Look at that size of that one. Holy moly.
Yeah.
That's
So then
great.
you cast those out and then you color them differently, right?
yes, yeah. I need to finish it, to mold, cast, and then I can make them, like, to paint them.
Wow.
Yeah, they will be like limited editions. This, yeah, they are like all in clay.
Oh yeah.
That is
so
great.
so beautiful. So amazing.
See, now what I read from those is video games are evil.
Yeah.
A father of 2 boys that love video games. Sometimes they are evil. Sometimes they're great, but they can get crazy. Yeah, I mean the paint work is so now. Do you use both airbrush and paintbrush?
Yes, airbrush and just regular brushes. I just paint in that way.
That's great. It almost looks like it does. Is it? Did you put a wash on it as well?
In the mouth, I put like UV resin, and I flashing them with UV light, and we have the result. It's like epoxy, also like epoxy clay. Yes, it's 2 parts, let's say, but I have find that UV resin. You just like taking your brush and applying in the teeth when you want, and you put it in the UV lights, and it's dry, and it's like that shiny like color you see.
Wow, comes out. What a cool effect, especially for the inside of mouths and.
Yeah, it's just for the mouth. For the eyes, I put like dots like in the eyes.
Killer work. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're limited edition. They're limited edition, so you better get out there and get them before they're all gone.
Yeah, I have one, I think.
It reminds me of another guest that we had, Michael Perry, who those multi-row of teeth. That I mean that is one of the things I think it's such. When you look at it, it makes obvious sense, but it's like just to come up with that concept of all, you would think like 1 row of teeth, right? It's like, but all those teeth it's amazing. It gives it such a like great texture, and so it's super cool. I mean, like, and as I said, the detail is amazing, but then you obviously see the arcade part of that. It's so amazing. So like,
if you roll, he will eat you.
So did you grow up on video games and stuff like that? What were some of your favorite video games or arcade games?
Yeah, I was playing a lot. Like, I remember when we have that little places to play that games. I was like from the morning. I remember with my friends, we have go there playing Street Fighter a lot.
Street Fighter, nice.
Street Fighter, yeah, I remember that. Like, I have PlayStations and I playing home, but no time for playing this period.
Street Fighter. I mean, that seems to be like that. I think I was out of video games by then, but I knew of it, and it seems to be one of those games that really for artists it really inspired people and really got them. The video games from there seem to like explode in a different way. I'm probably from the generation right before that was all Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, and one that actually inspired me a lot was Dragon's Lair. If you're familiar with that one?
That one sucked. I got to be honest.
No, I enjoyed the concept of it, that it was a video game, but you could go through it, and that's the thing, that the part that it kind of inspired me. It was kind of thinking differently on video games. It wasn't like kind of the 8-bit or just kind of the flat type of thing. It was just kind of thinking a little bit differently on it. So
you use most your imagination in that game, like Pixels games, and they're still like amazing, like art.
Yes, absolutely. I have actually most of the Atari games, there's actually a book out, and I wish I wouldn't know the name of it. I would definitely plug it right now. But the cover art for the actual Atari games was amazing as well. So everything around it was really wonderful. Video games obviously have inspired so many artists, to be more creative. And so did video games inspire? Obviously, it inspired you to create your own creatures. I mean, so I'm going to bring up one right here.
Whoa.
Yeah. What was? Is this one of your original creations? So where did this one come from?
This is my approach to Greek mythology. He's a creature from the Greek Atlantida, and he was like the guardian of Atlantis. This job I have done in my first work. It was done in ZBrush. And this is my work collaboration with my good friend Nikita Lebedev. He's most 3D artist. And in that way, I have done the sketch, I have sent to him the file, and we have done that in collaboration together. That and the princess. And the next, it was the Princess of Atlantis.
Wow.
Yeah, super amazing.
Greek mythology, just in imagination.
And it looks like a shell.
Yes, it's like crabs, it's from sea, the creature from the sea. He's guardian of Atlantis.
So this was worked out in ZBrush?
Yeah, it's this is my first ZBrush work.
That was your first ZBrush. Come on.
Yes, the first, and you will see the second. I have in the Princess of Atlantis. Now we have done in one warrior. Maybe next year we will produce it also the third sculpture in the line. Yeah.
Right. So what I keep hearing is you have the quickest learning curve of any human being on the planet.
I have good friends, like they sculpt mostly in ZBrush, and they helped me like to learn. I was watching like a lot of YouTube videos, and in 3-4 months, like I just have started to sculpt. I can buy my vacuum, and but I still prefer to sculpt in clay. I don't know, like all my hours I spend to that. In some hours I just sketch in the ZBrush. Yeah.
Wow. I'm blown away by that. That's not an easy thing to do. You translated it so quickly. And you're just working with a stylus and a mouse, really, right?
Yes, it's so different approach, like to navigate your sculpture. Like this is I think if you will try to learn, you can learn it in 2 weeks in navigate. If you will learn to navigate, it's just simple tools. Like we have our tools, I will show.
Yeah.
We don't need 100 tools. Yes, we need 3 tools, 4 tools. It's enough for us. The same it's in ZBrush. In ZBrush, it's more like technical stuff you need to learn. But to sculpt, it's just the same approach. Like, you need to change a little bit. Like how my approach is like, like traditional artists in that. Some other guys, they are like super fast. Like, I don't know, like they're doing like so fast everything in the 3D.
That is beyond the capability of my human chimp brain.
It doesn't make sense.
It's so impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different medium, just different medium.
So how did you? ZBrush is not something that you just magically get on your computer. Did you have it from school, or did you have it you just bought it and said, "Hey, here's a 3D modeling program. I'm just gonna see what I can make in it."
Like all my friends, like mostly they are like 3D artists. Like 99% of my friends, they are like all 3D artists. I just watching them. They just sculpt like only in ZBrush. And when I have started to sculpt, then like my good friend Nikita, he have asked me. He want to learn mold making, and I just teach him from Skype. And then slowly I have started. Okay, he told me like you need to start to practice in ZBrush, and I have started to slowly to learn it, just watching the YouTube videos. Then I have asked like how I need to do that, like why it's not works. it's so many questions you have when you don't know something. And then my other friends like Brett Briley from USA, he also like he's amazing in the ZBrush, and many other guys like they have helped me in that. But again, like my computer, it's not so powerful to work in ZBrush, but I'm still like prefer. I don't know. I love most the clay.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta get your hands on it.
In my time, I don't know why, to clay. Like it's, I don't know, it's different feeling for me to work with my hands, like my fingers.
Oh, I could. That is such a. It's more personal, really. Clay is personal.
True.
You have complete control with your actual hand. You're part of it. And I mean, ZBrush is an amazing tool, but from what I can see, you're doing the same exact quality stuff with these guys. You know, that's why, you know, that's amazing that you can do both.
Yeah. It's I think it's very comparable. Like, for instance, like if you were to hand code a web page, you know, in HTML, but then they have those, you know, what you see is what you get. You know, there's a difference in that. There's a difference between, you know, painting something for real and then painting it in Photoshop. So yeah, but I mean, they're both kind of a similar concept, and they've come a long way. I actually was trying to learn in Cinema 4D, and they have different platforms. So like I wanted to do more typography, kind of 3D typography in it. So I was trying to learn that, but I mean, I know that there was like a sculpting aspect. There's a version of it that's, you know, more for sculpting, but I never got into that. That seems to be so advanced. So it's like, you know, have you ever worked with any other thing except for ZBrush? Have you worked in any other like Maya?
I was working with AutoCAD, like for
gotcha.
architectural, like AutoCAD. Yeah, this was my tool.
Okay.
Different. It's only to build houses, like. Yeah.
Right.
ZBrush is so different, like approach. It's just for sculpting. Yeah, but it's amazing.
Yeah, totally. And you know, Matt was unfortunately, you know, Matt's still putting giving me questions to ask you.
Okay.
So one of the things that he's definitely having, I wouldn't say difficulty, but it's like it is a concept. I'm lucky where I've worked in art my whole career. But Matt and Paul don't. This is a side gig for them. So taking that plunge, what was it? The fact that, you know, you had, you know, transitioned from your job, it was kind of forced upon you. But was that a difficult transition? I mean, did you, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of anxiety in it, but, you know, you're obviously glad you made it, but it was like, it was, you know, a jump into the deep end for a lot of artists. So
it was difficult. Yeah, it was because when you're starting, it's like you don't know what to expect. You know, you're just doing what you love. I think the people who doing that with passion and just don't think about like money and all that stuff, and you're doing what you love, I think one day you will be there. Like one day.
Yeah, I think one of those things that they always say is like, you know, go with your passions and the money will be there. That seems like a really great thing to say, but it doesn't seem like a reality. And I think that you know, Paul, I always feel like one of the things that you probably struggle with is like the anxiety of it actually being a job. You know, that you know, like you have to be your own boss.
Yeah, it goes back to, like I said, when I was in way back in high school. The moment someone instructs me or delegates me to do something without it being inspired, I don't want to do it. So when it comes to like say, so George, you're making things and people are buying them. They're buying exactly things that you're putting out, saying, hey, I'm putting this out. I made this. I was inspired. And then people want to purchase. My anxieties come from because of the Halloween season where we get commissioned and they're like, hey, I can you do this? Can you make this? I want to see this. And then it's like, yeah, I probably can, but I don't want to. I have a whole bunch of little sketches and notes written down of things that I want to do throughout this season, and this is impeding on that. But at the same time, you don't ever want to turn down an opportunity, right? That's just crazy. Just do everything, kind of pinch your cheek and smile and get through it. But yeah, that when it becomes a job, it's the anxiety that for me and the frustration comes along with it. But I think it's different. It's different for what you're doing though, right? Because you're making things that come from your brain and your imagination, and they're spectacular, and you put them out there for the world, and people are like, gimme, 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 I want it. So it's that demand for a George sculpture. Whereas
in my start, I was doing mostly commissions, like I was doing a lot of commissions. I have many sculptures there. It was like for the companies I was doing for them. And now, like when the people ask me for commissions, I don't have any more time to do that. And I enjoying that. Like I enjoying like to do my stuff, like my ideas, to do what I want. Yeah. I understand how you're feeling when you're doing just only commissions for the others.
And I don't like that that there's an added pressure for me. Maybe it's because I'm working with things shaped like this or something that's round, and somebody asks for something that obviously doesn't fit on that shape.
Yeah.
But you don't want to. It's almost like a pride thing where it's like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out a way to make this happen. Yeah. And 7 out of 10 times you might pull it off a little bit, but sometimes it doesn't go right, and you got to start again, and then there's the extra time, but it becomes an issue of pride and not wanting to fail. So
you need to think about that. Like you want to do more commissions or to focusing more in your art, to do like your stuff. Like it's just time. If you will have the good time, I think you will make more of your stuff, and people will see more of your stuff.
That's exactly hopefully where we're going. And that's the beauty too. We really don't have a plan. Matt and I both have families in careers outside of this, and this has been the most fun. I guess you would still call it a hobby. I mean, I'm a seasonal professional around September and October, but the rest of the year, other than the show, I was just a guy in the basement carving different things because that's what I like to do. So the show has created this amazing outlet where I get to sit and talk to you, somebody that I've watched and been inspired by for years, and hear your story in the process, and how you feel about the whole thing. That inspires people. So that's pretty cool. That's been the best part for me. I'm doing my own thing right now. Basically, I'm a guy in a basement, talking to other artists. It's the coolest thing ever. Thank you, internet. Except for Matt. Poor Matt hates the internet right now.
The internet connect us.
But so I mean, this is the plan. Really, this was the plan, was to just have a community and be able to talk to other artists, especially where we're all kind of locked down right now. You can't go travel. I can't go travel to Greece and see you at an exhibition, or I can't even go see Mickey in LA. Yeah. So this has been the best silver lining.
Yeah, I think the internet. Now it's the best period for everyone, like to work from distance.
Yeah. What did the COVID renaissance? That's what I keep hearing, that all the artists are actually, you have the time to be home and focus and.
It really cut out the fat. I mean, I said this show was born of that, and I don't know if we would even be having this discussion if it wasn't for this adverse year. And that's the beauty of the internet. It connects us because we can talk to somebody. It's like 5 or 6 o'clock there. Now in the afternoon, and I don't think we would have had that before. It's kind of like, and we were talking about this as well, that artists have really pivoted during this time very easily. For us, it's just like, oh great, I don't have to like be on a train all day or in my car all day, in the morning or at night. It's taking taking away that energy. We can actually concentrate on more openly on stuff, although it's it's still adverse. I mean, there's a ton of adversity. But we're used to living. If I'm not in this room, I'm in that room. I have my other computers and all my other art in there. So this has actually kind of forced us to be creative and expand in this time. So yeah, I mean, the fact that Matt and Paul are super inspired by your work, but other artists, other great artists are. I mean, we showed that Lenny thing before. Like, who are some of the artists that you're inspired by? George?
My start, I was inspired a lot, like from Schiffel Brothers.
Yes, they're great.
Yeah, I love them. And Steve Wang, amazing. Yeah. George Tsougkouzidis, like many of Simon Lee, like many of them, I have met them in the Master Palooza 2 years ago. Like for me, they are like one of the best of artists in the world. And and now like I am inspiring from the books, from stories, from mythology, different stuffs.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I love that you're pulling a lot of it out of books too, because you're seeing it in your head.
Exactly. I think it's the best, like to create something, like just from reading something. It's something more original.
It's true. It's the best ideas come from when you don't have a set idea. Right, you don't have
sketch. Just start to sketch.
You just have you see something in your head, not something that you saw online or something that you're referencing, which is great too if that inspires, because that happens a lot. But sometimes I feel like the best ones come from when you sit down and somebody says, "What are you going to do?" and you go, "I don't know, but I had an idea. I had a little idea."
Yes, true. Yeah. I can show you like one big sculpture I'm doing. It's like, again, it's inspired from the book, The Shadow over Innsmouth.
Oh, let me see.
Oh,
this will be like big book.
Wow. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And you can put it in shelf also. No.
And then you can put it up.
That's awesome.
How many hours would you say you have put into that right now?
A lot. If you feel like I have done the arms, I have mold cast, because there will be separately parts. Some tentacles I will be like in that way. I need to remove them, and you can see like.
Wow, so intricate.
So someday we're going to be able to own one of these.
Yes, probably from the next year, because it's already December.
I love the concept too, that it's a book, like you can display it in that way.
Yeah, and it's this will be like it's just from the book. Like I love that book a lot.
Wow.
That blew me away. Like,
it's so great, man.
And it's because think about it. It's like a book, but it's like hollowed out, but yet it still has so much to
Next
it.
scripture.
Whoa!
Wow! Oh my goodness. You can't see us, but we're all like craning our necks.
I'm
trying to get a closer view.
You're right in front of me, and I'm still leaning in to look at it closer.
I am too. I'm trying to look. Oh my goodness. My gosh.
Holy
this
moly.
will be like Cthulhu altar. Yeah.
I mean, it's super cool too, because it's almost kind of got that, like, the tentacles that are kind of like wormy type of thing, and it's like, wow. It's got like almost like fossils. It's like, oh, what an awesome concept.
And it reads through that. It's completely three-dimensional. It's not like you're not looking at the profile or.
Yep.
It's all 360.
Like it has a shape to it, even though it's like there's tons of shapes in it. It's so
right. It has the main shape. Wow.
Like,
do you think your start when you were doing the architectural stuff, do you think that helps with sort of mapping out an overall shape, because a lot of your stuff, like even the arcade guys, have this very definable shape, and your sculpture has very symmetrical shapes.
I build them in that approach, that with like maquette.
Is that like a foam board?
Yes, it's like with that we build like maquettes.
Okay. Oh, very
See?
cool.
And in that way, I'm doing that, let's say, from inside. You see? I just build the shape, and then I start to build. It's like I'm doing that like directly in that way with clay.
It's aesthetically, it's very aesthetically pleasing to my eye to see such a good uniform shape, but they have the, there's asymmetry inside of the main shape that it's so, I don't know, it's very pleasing to the eye. Like I look at that, and if you were to say, what is it? And you gave me 3 seconds, I'd say it's a video game. It's a console. Like it's an old school console.
Old school.
But then when you get up close, it's just badass monster.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because it has to like sit on something and not tip over and still kind of support its own weight and everything. So.
Right.
I sculpt that.
There you go.
Clay holds very firm to that. So do you put a first layer of monster clay, like melted monster clay, to it?
Yes, just applying the first layer.
Yeah.
And then I start to sculpt like the shapes.
Almost like frosting a cake so that all the other material sticks.
Yeah.
Look at that, huh? Wow. That is crazy.
This is it's like when we're doing that kind of sculpture, let's say,
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how intricate it can get right there.
Unbelievable.
It's kind of the same concept from what you were doing as well.
It's like it would take you like a piece like that. It would take me an hour of staring at it, like an inch from my face, to take it all in and just be like in awe of it. I love it. There's just something about a great sculpture. You can't put it down. Like a child with a new toy, you want to look at every little scratch and tentacle, and you can see everything's tucked in, but it's actually detailed out, man. Very well done. Unbelievable. So how long before you put actual video games in the video game consoles? That's what I want to know. When can I play Street Fighter on one of those bad boys?
I have now in my PS4. I'm playing with my son, 7 years old. Like I have in PS4, like I don't have time to play my games. I have a lot. But the summer, usually when we have more time, like I trying to play some games I love.
Yeah, I want to see a mini screen in one of the arcade monsters. So that's actually a usable, or you make one big enough. See, I got ideas now. We're gonna make a giant arcade monster, full size, with an articulating jaw that will actually take the kid's hands off.
Yeah, I was thinking, like people ask me to do that stuff, but I need time. I need to find them, to make that screens, and I don't have time now.
Yes.
But I would love to have some like playing that.
How crazy! That would be so crazy. It's gonna happen. I can tell.
He's already making these infinitely elaborate sculptures. Let's make it more elaborate.
Yes.
Let's put electronics in it.
Yeah, let's learn in that to do that.
Yeah. So do you ever get art direction on what you do when you were doing your commissions? Do people say, can you make this tentacle like a little bit fatter?
Usually with the commissions, when I was doing commissions, I have some drawings sometimes, like rough drawings, sketches. Sometimes I have just text, like from the companies. We want that character. He was living in that era. He's like a warrior. And with that approach, I was doing my commissions. Yeah, now I don't take commissions. Just like few of them I take. Like for toy companies, I'm doing some stuffs. Yeah. I have done this summer. I have done one collectible for Nintendo Switch game, Carry On.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I trying to do more my stuff,
Yep.
To spend
Well, that
time.
it goes. Well, it goes back to the, like we were talking about. You want to be inspired, but it is nice to get that paycheck from those companies.
Yeah, sometimes you need to do that.
Yes.
Plus,
Yes.
if something like that's out there forever, that's, people see that and becomes that might become an iconic little, somebody might see that. Like, so Mickey and I sometimes will talk about something from our past. Like, do you remember this figure or this thing? And you meet the person that did that, and they're like, oh yeah, I did like 8 of those. I don't even remember. And it's like, that was my favorite. Growing up, that was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like, as a human being, I had that one little sculpture that I loved.
Yeah.
So, got to do the little things.
Yeah. So I might be speaking for you here, Paul, but like my view of like Greece, right? From what we learned in school and stuff like that, a lot of the architecture, a lot of the definitely the statues and all the stuff that goes along with that. I guess we don't have as much of that here. We have it in limited quantities, but it's, was that like prevalent? Is that as prevalent as an inspiration for you, or is it just something that just was there you didn't care about, to inspire your work?
It was here, like all that places. It's here, like the museums. When I was going to the school, we just saw, like, we just looking like kids,
Yeah.
It was like regular stuff for us. But yes, it's like, again, it's all that inspire us, like mostly like mythology. Yeah, the creature. It's so many mythological creatures. Yes, and again, like today, I trying to use that. Today, I understand. Okay, I would love to build Atlantidas creatures because we don't know nothing for that. This again, it's like to use your imagination to create something it not exist.
Right, something without reference is probably the best.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So do you do any other type of art? You were saying you drew. So do you paint? Or is it any like on a canvas or anything like that? I know that you paint your work.
No, when I was younger, I was draw a lot. I was sketch all day in my old job. I also was working 3 years in the interior designer, and I was sketch all day. Now my sketch, my drawing, it's sculptures. Just I start to sketch directly to my sculpture. I don't draw to what I want to create. I just directly start to sculpt in my armatures.
And it's all natural ability, right? There's no
just taking that and use that like white canvas to create my sculpture. What I want to do, okay, let's do that here, and I just trying to sculpt directly to white canvas.
I mean, it's such a short amount of time too. So basically self-taught, correct? Right? Less than
6 years I'm sculpting.
Yes. That's unheard of. Super George. That's Super George. Unbelievable.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's inspirational right there. Like, if you have natural talent and you have a love for it, it's gonna happen. I mean, that's so crazy.
It's mostly, I think, hard work. Oh,
of course, yeah.
Talent, you have something different from the other people. Like, some people will be musicians, some people will be teachers. You have more artistic, but if you will not working in that, this will be nothing. You just need to do what you want. If you are like artists, if you will that like with passion and hard work, like I say to everyone, you need to live with that. You need to sleep, you need to wake up, you need to think only for the art. If you want to, like, it's your last day, just do what you want. Like, I don't know, I explain every time in that way. You need to be passionate. If you have the passion, you will achieve that goal one day, because nothing in our world, it's not, you can achieve. You can't. You just need to do that.
Well, it's well said. Actually, that's exactly what you need to do. It has to be an obsession, and it's a healthy obsession, really. You know,
the only way.
And it changes your brain. You become the things that used to be hard become the things that are super easy, and it's almost like you forget how much you've learned because you're just doing it constantly. Like same thing with being a musician. You know, there was something like when you picked up a guitar, you didn't know how to hold the notes, and all of a sudden you're all over the place.
Yes, it's the same, like you say. Like for the musician, it's the same. He just practiced so many hundreds, thousand hours. He was himself to practice, and after many years, he have achieved that level to do that with no problems. Like when you start to do what you're doing now, like imagine when you have started, you have so many questions. How it works? How I can do that? But now it's like you don't think, you're just doing that.
Well, I still ask how a lot, but I usually ask myself, like, how did I screw this up? How did I get here?
Yeah, and I also think that that art, like you guys are doing right now, is much more, definitely much more respected now. I think in a sense that like people can wrap their heads around, like, you know, being a musician, or if, you know, that old, you know, someone painting with a beret on, right? And they get that's an artist. But like, I mean, even like my work on the computer, you know, my art on the computer, like what Paul is doing right in front of us, it's not that it wasn't respected. It's like people are now open to it. It's like, oh my gosh, like they can see the person behind the work. And also get to know that person and then follow them and see their works in progress and stuff like that. It's much different now, the concept of people who can't do what you do.
Yes. And now with like, it's so easily now to follow artists from different sites, from Instagram. You just can type to that artist if you want to ask something. Mm-hmm. It's so easily to do that. And when you, let's say, when you're doing something and people supporting to you, because you are like, you don't have like big company, you are yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think this is more like for people who collect also, it's great.
That's a good point too. Like you're because of like you're following, like say I'm following George, you're actually going to get other, you know, artists that like, you know, that you're following. It's like, oh, I didn't even know about this, you know, person. And so you're actually exposed to more artists like that, and how you can support them as well. Like I know that just from me doing this show, like I wouldn't have known about your work, but Paul and Matt were so passionate about getting you on the show. So it's like, now I'm exposed to this thing, and it's like, it's mind blowing, you know, and it's very inspiring, even though I don't do like what you do. It still inspires me. It's like, oh my gosh, like I'll give you for instance, like just to see this, like this is all I would, you know, if I could do this, that's what, you know, this would be my portfolio right here. but I mean, this just basically scratches the surface of like what you do and how you do all this stuff. And it probably inspires you to do more work and other people to do more work. So it's very, very interesting. I think I have some other examples of that, right? Yeah. I mean, this is, you know, just even this concept that, you know, of like the frame picture and it coming out of, it's like just really wild.
That is insane.
It's really gorgeous.
I love that tentacles are almost represented in about 90% of your work in some way, shape, or form. I love it.
Probably now I have more works from that, like from Cthulhu. But if you will see my first works, it's all like trolls, goblins, ogres, giants, like that creatures I was doing. Like now, you see more like the Cthulhu's stuff I'm doing. It's very good.
Yeah, but I see a little tentacle coming out of the side of that guy there. I see something that resembles a tentacle.
Yeah. Yep. It's become his signature.
It's your calling card. You're the best at the tentacles. I mean, you're the top of the mountain when it comes to that. It's so smooth, and it just you look even though it's made out of resin, you feel like you could reach out and it would squish, or it would have some movement to it because there's so much movement in the sculpture itself.
Yeah.
You feel like you could push the thing around, and then you realize that it's a resin.
Yep. And he didn't cheap out on the frame either. I mean, even that's ornate. You know, it's like it's got his, you know, your logo in there and everything. It's like so amazing. So and then, you know, just to see
This is the Prince of Atlantis.
Princess.
Yeah. This is the second sculpture.
and this is something that Paul was saying, like in previous videos that we've done, doing the female form was actually hard for Paul. You were saying that it would be a real challenge for you. So,
Yes.
so I mean, you just nailed it here.
More difficult because it's more soft, like
Yes.
the edge. The creature is different when you sculpt creatures. It's more ugly, yeah. But this is more elegance, and yeah, it's different approach. It's difficult. The females, yeah, they're so difficult.
Right, and as far as commissions go, I will never take a commission to do a female. I would have to apologize right off the bat. Oh
That's
my
a great
goodness.
way to go into a commission, with an apology.
Yes. You're like, oh, you want to hire me? I'm so sorry. I'm so terrible. Unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, so now here's another thing that I love about your work is I don't think it needs paint. Ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much shadow and texture created that, I mean, paint's cool, but it looks perfect without the paint. It looks like it looks finished.
Thanks,
I don't even think it needs color. I'm sure color is obviously another level, but
yeah,
it's just crazy.
some guys who have paint here, like it's just next level. Just
Yeah.
like the life, you know, when you paint something.
Yeah.
It
Some
does.
people are paid to paint, just buying and not paying. They are like telling me like we are not in the level to paint it yet. I tell them like just do what you're feeling like. Don't worry about so much.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. If you get a great paint is great paint. But I mean, as it stands up all by itself, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, really amazing. I mean, and here's like the
Hey, we just saw that guy.
Yeah, and you can really just get the depth of and I love that the jaw is held together, you know, kind of with that metal
Mechanically,
play. I mean, it's just next level, and just the sunken cheeks and everything. Just oh my gosh, it's like I said, this is just fascinating work, and yeah. So did you watch like any like movies and stuff like that? Were you inspired by like movies as well? I'm sure that you had to be.
I'm watching a lot of movies, like old movies. I love mostly. I can watch like 20, 30 times one movie in all that year, like watching again and again and again, and you never tired to see that movies.
Because I would figure like the Creature from the Black Lagoon and like those types of movies that you know, just seeing the structure of your work.
Yes, I'm inspired from that, like from Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein, and I just try to do my approach to Frankenstein, let's say, and Creature from Black Lagoon again. Like I would love to do some of that creatures also. I have in my plans to do that sculpture.
You got a lot of plans. I love it.
Yes, I have a list. You know what I need to do next.
Wow.
So Paul has actually done. He's actually done vegetables, right? Pickles here. He's done food.
Like whoa, that's not that. I mean, you sculpted that, obviously.
This is the Pickle Monsters I sculpt. I have many of them in work in progress. I can show.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I was going to say that he's done food as well, just like you guys, but this is his version of it.
Greek
Yeah, but he
salad.
sculpted the food too. he took the extra stuff. He don't need to buy produce. He makes it.
I have done also the pumpkins, if you have seen, and it's just clay pumpkins.
Right.
Clay pumpkins.
I mean,
But they're not just clay pumpkins. They're amazing. Look at that, huh? Jeez.
and just the level of detail is just insane. So has anybody ever reached out to you to do any like create stories out of your characters, or has anybody ever done anything like that?
For what?
I figured just like make a story out of these characters or something like that, or I don't think I guess not. It seems like that people could actually make stories with all your characters, but
No,
no.
I don't have, not yet.
I'll edit this out in post. That was a terrible question.
I thought it was a great question. I think what you were trying to say, has anybody reached out to try and develop?
Yeah,
Some
maybe
of
that.
No. Like
It's
for
so
the
original.
games, I have some guys who ask me to use my works for some movies. Like I remember, like for
There you go.
Cthulhu Altar, to use it in like Altar in one movie. But I don't have seen that movie yet. I don't know. Maybe in future, yeah, I will see something from people.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I mean, I can see like people saying like, "Oh wow, these would be really great to like bring these to life, or do even animated versions of it." You know, it's like
Great.
yeah, I think that would be super interesting, because I mean, like when
Maybe.
like there's a lot of these kind of dark kind of characters. I could definitely see like a whole world of these, definitely, and someone taking that challenge on, because like the characters are already, they're super ornate. They seem to have like a lot of they could build a lot of story into them. I mean, these are just really fascinating.
Witches.
George, no
Bye-bye.
big deal, but you might want to add that to your list. We're going to need to see a book containing all of your characters and a storyline.
Yes.
A whole world.
I'm thinking to do one book in the future, like with maybe like with my sculptures and my tools, what I'm using. Like, yeah, I'm thinking to do that.
So are you thinking about like kind of would you ever teach people, or like how you do what you do? Has that ever been a thought?
Yeah, I was teaching 2 years ago in USA. I have traveled to teach my good friend. He working in the game industry.
Wow.
I have teach like now, like mostly like I can teach it from online. Yeah, personal teaching online.
Yep.
But yeah, I need to find time, because people ask me for some teaching like classes, and yeah, I just need to find time maybe in future to do that. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think that anybody would be. I mean, like I don't do this. I would love to learn like where you would even start with this.
Yeah, me too, Mickey.
and he's doing it right in front of us.
I'd like to learn. Yeah, do you know that's actually one of my favorites.
The Goblin Joker.
Yeah, the shapes are awesome. It just flows. Even the nose, the chin, the curl of the hat, the shape of the ear, the
point of the chin.
It's just amazing.
It's fantastic, and then
wow.
And
this is all monster clay medium.
Yes, all.
Wow, the detail that you can achieve out of that is just bonkers.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's take this as a compliment, but I'm depressed. You're so good, it's depressing.
More clay stuff. You are there.
Someday I'm gonna get to at least 30% of where you are, and I'll be happy with that.
You just start. You have already the clay. You just need to do more time to spend in that.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna have to do.
I see you love mostly like pumpkin. To do that, to carve. Yeah, it's just passion.
Yep, I got to get back into the clay. I have to, because it's so inspiring. So inspiring.
You must know.
So amazingly enough, 90 minutes has come and gone. I told you, George, this would go quick. Just looking at your work is super inspirational. You can follow George at his Instagram. Is there any place else that we can see your work or even buy your work?
Yes, I have my website also, and I have my art station, my Instagram mostly I post there. I have personal website. Yeah, you can find all. You can look my works there.
And it's all linked through your Instagram account. I know that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
head over there and check out that website. It's amazing. The work that he's producing is depressing for it's so good.
No.
It's so good.
Not depressing. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
inspirational is actually the better word. And we appreciate you joining us. It was an honor and a privilege for me to get to speak to you and talk about your work. So thank you again.
Yeah, there's the website right there. You can actually go and look at his work, but also you have a store in here as well. You can actually shop and get a lot of your work. What's usually do you ship to anywhere, right?
Worldwide.
Anywhere in the world?
Yeah, worldwide, everywhere.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it is Christmas Eve, so it's a little late to get it. But you can definitely for the beginning
Next year, now you will take it next year. You know.
That's it. Yeah, you got to start shopping for next year now.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and so what's usually what have you found has been a turnaround? Like for instance, if I were in Los Angeles, if I was to order something, what's usually the turnaround time for getting something?
If I have them ready, I can ship them like next days. If it's painted, it takes times, but mostly when I put painted, it's already done, like it's already available to shipping. But now with COVID situation we live, it's just the stuff going slowly from post companies. But this is the only thing, like just you need to wait more.
Gotcha. So it could be a couple weeks, but worth the wait.
More.
Exactly. That's you said it, Mickey. Worth the wait.
Yeah.
So that is the show. We definitely, George, we definitely would love to have you back because you're a super incredibly talented artist. I'm sure we could talk a lot more. But actually, as a Christmas gift, we'd like to ask if you come back, especially for Matt. Matt is super inspired by your work, and I know had a ton of questions for you. So at some point next year, we'd love to have you back. If not for us, for Matt, because
I would love to do that. Absolutely no problem.
Yes, thank you so much. Your work is inspiring. I know Paul is super giddy over there. Look at him.
I'm a fanboy. Look at me. I put these lights up for him.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much.
So follow, like, subscribe, tell a friend. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. We're here every week. Alternating days, but we're going to get back to our regular routine on Thursdays. But this is a recorded show that we'll have on that we're doing for Christmas Eve. So thank you, George. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for giving us a glimpse into your studio and into your work.
Thank you,
and we will see you next time.
Merry
Thank
Christmas,
you very much,
everybody.
guys.
Bye-bye, everyone.